Yo, Benny! I don't think he's home, man. Benny, man, yo. Yo, what's up, everybody? I'm MC Savah from the Kankasaurs. You can catch me on funnyordie.com/Kankasaurs, K-A-N-K-S-O-R-Z, you know what I'm saying? But right now, it's all about Benny TV. Yo, because my boy Benny the Gagoots got his own show. And I just want to give a big shout out to Benny. And in honor of that, I'm going to do a dope-ass freestyle, man. So he's got to figure out what rhymes with Benny. 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 What rhymes with Benny? Benny. What rhymes with Benny? Benny. He's in the Serengeti. He's hunting for a Yeti and he's always on the ready. And Benny's always merry when he's eating his spaghetti. But right now he's in the desert, so his palms are kind of sweaty. His good friend Freddie, he brought him that Ben and Jerry. And Yetis, they love the Ben and Jerry. So Benny caught that Yeti and we all threw confetti. Yeah, Benny. Benny TV, baby.
Benny TV, baby.
Yeah!
Wow, that's cool.
We're in the future.
Welcome to the past.
We're in the past, present, and future.
Wow, we must be in a remade movie.
You're really terrible at this.
I am?
Yeah, you're not good at it.
Why?
You're not good at the improv. You should take a lesson. You should do a class.
I said that I'm here in the past, present, and future.
Are you?
Yes.
I'm not sure. I don't know. You're not good at the improv.
Oh, stop! I am.
Don't quit your day job. He makes sheets. I'm just kidding. That's not true.
What are you teasing
Welcome
me
to the show. Welcome to Benny
Welcome
TV.
to Benny TV.
I'm Benny TV. No, I'm just kidding. I'm Ryan Rizzuti. This is my father, Bernard Television.
Bernard Pellegrino Cosmo Mario Rizzuti.
Television.
Television.
TV. That's his name.
My name
Well,
is.
I could hear me on the phone. What are you doing?
I turned the
What are you,
volume.
This is your
No,
first
I'm
day?
on a mute.
This is your first day at the Apollo, sir?
I'm on a mute.
This is your first day at the Apollo, sir. So
What's
welcome to the
with you?
show.
You're so viciously attacking me.
No, I'm not. Do you want to go into... All right, so before the show started, my dad called me a whore.
No, I didn't. I called him a Bhutan.
Which means a whore. And then he's being like, oh, you're getting snippy with me. You're doing stuff with
No,
me.
and then I said we're in the future and we're in like a remade movie, and you didn't like what I had to say. But the show is about, basically our theme for tonight is talking about remakes. Plus a few
I guess
other-
now you spoiled it. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Tonight we're talking remakes. I'm going to review a new film tonight. That's assault, brother. We're going to review a new film tonight. The film Overlord, which just came out in came out in theaters. I almost said in films. A film that almost came out in films.
Came out in film. It came out on celluloid this
It
week.
did come out on celluloid, probably in some town somewhere that doesn't have digital, because every theater's digital now, which is good and bad. We don't have to get into that unless somebody wants me to. But we're going to talk about remakes tonight. We're going to talk about Overlord, like I said. We're going to talk about a film that we discussed last week. Let's start with that, and then we'll talk about something else.
Yeah.
But let's go in. You saw Bohemian Rhapsody.
I saw Bohemian Rhapsody Sunday with your mom, and we both loved it very much. I give it 4 stars, and I wrote on Facebook, so to tell you, I said, I saw Bohemian Rhapsody, and my only advice is ignore the critics. Because I really enjoyed the movie. I liked it. The only problem now, those of you who haven't seen it and want to see it, what happens is everybody tells you how great the movie is, and then when you see it, you're going to say, oh, I expected a lot more. That happens when you held out and didn't see it for whatever reason, and then you go to see it. But don't expect anything. Just go to have a good time. The music is great. You get a little inside of the band. And there are people that say certain things aren't historically accurate. I don't believe there is one biopic that is 100% historically
No, it doesn't
accurate.
exist.
I don't think that exists.
That's why people have been really going like against the movie, saying it butchers it changes things, and I'm like, doesn't change anything any more than any other biopic does. Most biopics change things. That's just the part of biopics. They're going to not say certain things that they don't want out, and they're going to condense certain things for timeline purposes.
And condense
to make it
yeah.
fit into a 2-hour movie, which is what they really did in Bohemian
They
Rhapsody.
condense, and a lot of biopics do that. They condense to they got across, they got the point across, or they got the situation, whatever happened at that time, they got it across, but they didn't do it exactly the way it happened. But they still got. And same thing with another movie that we had reviewed a while back, Black Klansman.
Black Klansman, great
Black
movie.
Klansman, great movie. There's a lot of historical inaccuracies in that movie, and I think that's one of Spike Lee's finest films. But there are things that they had to make for dramatic effect. Certain things they had to get across that sometimes it gets across easier to do it, in a visual medium. So that's when you're dealing with a visual medium, and they don't want you to be bored. Or if you watch a movie that's 2 hours and 20 minutes long, and you don't feel it drags at all, and you feel the time went fast, you saw a good movie.
Yes.
And the audience, as we've said in the past, movies are a different type of medium. It's a medium that's actually made to watch with a lot of people. If you're laughing and other people around you are laughing, it just brings you closer. It makes the movie experience that much more fun. And this movie made you laugh. It made you rock out, and it did make people cry.
It made someone who wrote their entire review in the comments section. Your wife, my mother, Nancy Rizzuti. Bohemian Rhapsody, the story of Queen, the rock and roll group. It was awesome. Glasses emoji. I give it 5, a star, and then stars. The actor that played Freddie Mercury deserves an Academy Award. His name is Rami Malek. He was in great films such as Night at the Museum, Need for Speed, where if you want to watch him in Need for Speed, he finds out that him and his friends are going to go do the races, and he works in an office, and he just gets completely naked and just walks out of the office. It's a hilarious scene. Doesn't fit in the movie at all, but it makes sense that he played Freddie Mercury, I feel like, after watching it.
And he was great as Freddie Mercury, and they do tell, not to give away anything, but Freddie Mercury is a great presence, but he wasn't the leader of the band. You do find out that
There was no
Queen.
leader.
There was no
leader. It was Queen.
It was Queen. All those songs that were written by Queen. They
Yes.
all added something. They were always critical of each other, and I recommend if you're a fan of the band Queen, then you really owe it to yourself to see this movie.
I agree.
You should. It's fun. You want a fun theater experience? It's fun. That's all I have to say about it.
Okay. I think you felt kind of exactly the same way that me and Phil felt last week.
Yes.
If you want a more in-depth conversation about Queen, watch last week's episode. We go really into Bohemian Rhapsody. Pretty much takes up the whole show. So watch last week's if you want to hear more about Bohemian Rhapsody. That was kind of just the butt and tail of the end of that, because my dad actually didn't have a chance to see it until
But
now.
I did. What I offered last week was the fact that I was at the Freddie Mercury tribute concert for AIDS awareness.
And that did not change in the past week. You still did go.
Yeah, I still did, but I'm not going to talk about it. You want to learn about it? Watch
Watch the show.
the show.
And we have a sad thing to talk about now.
Oh, yes.
Start with nice, and then we'll go into sad. We did yesterday have a passing of an icon, one of the most influential people in the comic book industry, the most influential person in the comic book industry, arguably.
Arguably.
The person who's had a hand in more big comics than any creator.
And he changed the fact that heroes were not perfect.
Yes.
He was the one that
Gave them flaws.
Gave them flaws.
And that was a big thing, and you can really see that in his work. And we're talking about Stan Lee passed away. We have this photo of Stan Lee. Stan Lee, unfortunately, passed away at 95. It is unfortunate. He did live a very long life and has almost had a second life in his career being in cameos in his films. So
Yeah, in his
everyone
films.
kind of knows who Stan Lee is now.
That's true. They know who he is. And I had the great fortune of seeing him at a science fiction convention in Stony Brook, the Icon convention. He was there one year.
Yeah.
So I got to see him, and I got to some funny interaction with the panels that he was on. So
That's great.
it was great. I didn't get a signature. I don't know. I just didn't want to. The lines weren't that bad, and back then you didn't have to pay. You just, sometimes you bought something of theirs, artwork, and he would sign it.
Boy, I
didn't get
wish I could
anything.
go back to those conventions.
They were fun conventions, right? You didn't have to pay. It was different. There was George Takei from Star Trek. There was Walter Koenig. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name. Chekhov.
Walter Cronkite.
No, Chekhov. Harlan Ellison. I have lots of books signed by Harlan, and all
You have
sometimes dozens, and all
Dozens. We have a wing in the house dedicated to signed Harlan Ellison memorabilia.
a lot of Harlan Ellison. Some Ray Bradbury, whom I would like to talk about later. But I have a few different authors signed, and it didn't cost. Sometimes you had to buy one book, and then they would sign all the books you had. Ray Bradbury was like that. You had to
Now
buy the
you have
new
to
book.
give up whatever your most recent child is. It was the firstborn.
Now you have to pay.
Now I can't. My 78th child is mine. All the other children are accounted for
Yeah,
to various celebrities for
all right,
causes,
but not Stanley.
but not Stanley. Unfortunately,
Anyway.
I was at New York Comic Con. That was his last event, and they were charging a lot, but that doesn't matter because it's Stan Lee. But the lines, people were spending their entire day sitting there, 5, 6, 7 hours just to get Stan Lee's autograph.
That's
just to meet
ridiculous.
Stan Lee.
That's
Which,
ridiculous of you.
it's ridiculous, but now looking back at it that he's passed, you kind of wish that you had a chance to do it. I wish I had the chance to meet Stan Lee, and I never did. I've been in a room with Stan Lee,
Right.
but I've never actually had an encounter with Stan Lee.
Well, I didn't actually have an encounter either, but I did see him in the panels, and there was a dinner. I got the all-out VP package for this one. It was like their 10th anniversary or something. Harlan Ellison was there, Stan Lee, and then they gave out awards after the dinner. They gave out awards, and they gave Harlan the award to give to Stan Lee.
That
And
they would do that. They
Harlan,
would do that.
who is like,
Who also passed away this
who
year,
also
Harlan
passed away
Ellison.
this year. Harlan, at I believe, what was he, 82? I believe he was in his 80s.
He was in his 80s.
Anyway, he teased with Stan Lee and he joked with him, but when they asked him to give the award to Stan Lee, he went to a table. And if you know, Harlan was a very outspoken person, didn't hide what was on his mind, and he said, they want me, a writer, a great artist. Harlan was a great artist to give this comic book dude, and he knew him. They knew each other, but he's like, so when he went up there, he did a quick speech off the cuff, and then he ended it with, come over here and get your medal. He gave it.
That's a very Harlan Ellison
Yeah.
way of doing a speech.
Yeah, come over. They said, I think part of his speech, if I remember, was like, they said, we want you to give this award to Stan Lee. And I said, who? And they said, and something else, blah, 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 Stan Lee. And I said, who? And then he's like, Stan Lee, get over here and get your medal. And he gave it. But it was fun. He told some fun stories about Stan Lee on a panel, and they were fun. They were both great guys. Stan Lee was great. He'll be sorely missed. Rest in peace.
He definitely will. His legacy will live on in his characters,
Right.
which is amazing, and all the cameos. He's been in more superhero movies than any actor
Yes, that's
ever.
true.
Nobody will ever reach the amount of movies that he's in.
Of cameo. And didn't you say it's rumored that he made more cameos?
That's not a rumor. He shot a ton of cameos all at once, but who knows how many were already released
Yes.
and how many are still on. But he did a significant amount. I don't know the amount, but he shot a significant amount of cameos for the Marvel movies at once. But we don't know how many of them have already been out. So who knows how much longer we have the cameos.
Yeah.
But no, that's something that was confirmed. That's a known entity in the world. I found out this unfortunate news while I was at the cinemas yesterday, And it was a sad thing to hear, especially at the movies, something I love and something that Stan Lee is a part of to me. I love. He has some great cameos, even in bad movies. His best cameo is when he's the janitor in Amazing Spider-Man 1, and Lizard and Spider-Man are having a huge fight behind him, and he doesn't notice. That's a great one. I think he had one in Teen Titans Go this year, which was like making fun of, Stan Lee appeared in a DC animated thing. So I haven't seen that, but I heard that was good. And he's always in stuff. But I went to the movies yesterday, and I'm going to review the film. We have a poster and a photo for it. I saw the film Overlord.
Overlord, yes.
Overlord yesterday.
Tell me about that.
I will tell you about it. It's produced by J.J. Abrams. It is written by Billy Ray, who is a very well-known writer and filmmaker. He directed a couple of films. I want to get the director's name, so that's what I'm going to right now, which I believe I know what it is, but I don't want to butcher his name. But it's a film set during World War II. We have the photo right here. Directed by Julius Avery, who is only his second film. He did another film called Son of a Gun, which had Brenton Thwaites and Hugh McGregor. I never saw. I've heard mixed things about it. And that's Wyatt Russell, who is the second lead. That's the son of Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn.
Cool.
And he's been in other films.
Yes.
He was in Everybody Wants Some, which is the spiritual sequel to Dazed and Confused. He's in Ingrid Goes West. He has a really good role in 22 Jump Street. But this is the first film where he felt like he was playing a role that his father would play.
Cool.
He felt like Kurt Russell, like the embodiment of Kurt Russell. They brought young Kurt Russell back.
That's great.
And
how was he as an actor?
He's a good actor. I've liked him in everything that he's been in. But this was the film where it felt like this was a Kurt Russell role that he played, and he played it great. And it's a film about World War II. He leads a small group of soldiers that are going the night before D-Day to a small village in France where there's a radio tower at the church that's stopping the planes from going into France, American planes or Allied planes. So they need that plane coverage to help in D-Day.
Right.
So they need to destroy this tower before D-Day. And when they get there, it's a typical, one of the best things this film does is it stands on its own as a war film. It is a standard war film. Things go wrong. They're trapped behind enemy lines with a small group from their big group because bad things happen. It's a war film. Has a Saving Private Ryan feel. And then they find out when one of them stumbles into the lab that the Nazis are doing experiments on the people of France.
Don't they always?
And it is Nazi zombies.
Wow.
So this is a Nazi zombie film, very similar to a video game series called Wolfenstein. Wolfenstein is a little bit more tongue-in-cheek. There's like a Robo-Hitler that you got to kill in one of the games, a couple of the games. And
oh my God, what happened to my childhood?
That came out in the 90s. What are you talking about? And they've made many of them. Wolfenstein 2, which is like the remake of a remake, came out last year. And this film almost could be a Wolfenstein movie, but a little different. But I absolutely love this movie. 3 movies came out this week: The Grinch, The Girl, and The Spider's Web, which is the 4th Girl in the Dragon Tattoo book, but the second American film. And it's technically a sequel to the first one, and it's as if the 2 and 3 happen.
Oh, yeah?
And I've heard very bad things, and I heard the entire movie's in the trailer, which is why I didn't see that. And then The Grinch, I'll stick with the Jim Carrey one, even though it's not that great. And then we have this film, Overlord, which I did see this weekend, and I am very happy that I did. I loved Bohemian Rhapsody. I loved Halloween. I think Overlord is the best movie I've seen in months.
Really?
Overlord's the best movie I've seen in months by far.
Okay, you said it's a war movie.
It's a war film.
It's also a horror film?
Yes, and it toes the line very well because it's not like a tongue-in-cheek movie. It's like the first Evil Dead where it's completely serious, or The Thing, where I kind of say it's a mixture between The Thing and Saving Private Ryan, where it's a very serious war film, where they have jokes and they have their archetypes and the characters are kind of a different types. You know, you have your loudmouth New Yorker, You know, you have your kid who's gonna write a
He's
book.
gonna be
He's gonna be an author. You got a guy who likes taking photos, and none of them are big actors. They're all actors you might have seen in something. The lead in the film, who is I might say his name wrong. It's Jovan Adipo. He is Denzel Washington's son in Fences.
Oh, okay.
And that's the only other film I've seen of him. And he's great in this movie. And he's just this kid who he was in boot camp. He kind of just got thrown into the war, got drafted. And you could tell he kind of doesn't like being there. He doesn't know where he stands. He doesn't want to kill. And they have these typical archetypes, but then the way they blend in, and the script is great. It's a great script. It's directed flawlessly. They blend in. They slowly introduce. It's not just right away they start with a scene with crazy zombies. It slowly builds to the reveal of the zombies. But if you've seen any trailer or any advertising for it, you'd pretty much know that it's a Nazi zombie film.
Yeah, zombies. Good. Maybe I'll see that this weekend.
I would definitely recommend seeing it. I would definitely recommend seeing it in a theater with great sound, in a big screen if possible. I didn't see it in IMAX, but I kind of wish I did see it in IMAX. But I highly recommend it if you like World War II movies, if you like zombie films. If you don't like zombie films, but I still think this would stand on its own. If you're not someone who's into horror or zombie films, I still think it's not really scary. There's a couple of things that are creepy that I'm not going to give away.
Gory scenes?
Oh, there's definitely some gory scenes.
You can't have a zombie movie without
But
gore.
I think it works perfectly well, and obviously it's not realistic, but it feels kind of like Inglourious Basterds, where it's fictionalized, but you could also kind of see it being real, in the same way of Raiders of the Lost Ark and Temple of Doom, all the Indiana Jones films. They're fighting the Nazis because the Nazis were into the occult. That was a known fact, was the Nazis were into the occult, and that was something that they... I have to... I'm going to refer the two comments after I'm done with this.
After you're done with this.
But the way Raiders of the Lost Ark and Temple of Doom are...
Right.
They both are into the occult, and if they feel like it could be real, because that was a known thing. Even in the fourth film, which, let's not talk about Indiana Jones' Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but they brought in the Russians and they made that Stalin was into the occult, which is true. All of that's true. So it's not too crazy that the Nazis could have done something like this. Right. Obviously, it didn't happen. But it's plausible enough. Nobody likes Nazis. People love zombies. People love seeing zombies getting killed. People love seeing Nazis get killed. You combine them, you get a great film.
Yeah.
And that's my review of Overlord. Go see it.
All right,
I highly
cool.
recommend it. It's going to be out of theaters soon, probably. I tried to see a Suspiria remake this week. It was out of every theater in fucking Long Island. So there we go with that. I'm talking to you, Regal. We've been having issues. All right, I went to see Halloween. 20 minutes in, somebody pulled the fire alarm. I lost my voice screaming. Now they pulled Suspiria out of every theater, so I can't see it. I had free tickets from Halloween. They gave me like free passes. They were RPX tickets, and me and my friends were like, great, we'll go see Bohemian Rhapsody in 2 weeks in RPX. Last week, it wasn't in RPX. You know what was in RPX? The Nutcracker. Who cares about Nutcracker? Nobody cares about the Nutcracker.
That movie's out of the theater.
No one saw that movie. People who saw that movie are lying.
All right.
They're liars. But all I'm saying, I got issues with Regal. You can redeem yourselves in my eyes. You can do it. I believe in you. I'm tired of the BS. I'm tired of Regal stuff. I love you, Regal. What are you doing? Why can't you create a movie pass? AMC has one, but it's too far away from my house. You have like 3 locations by me. What are you doing to me? I'm sorry.
You started off as a motivational speaker, and then
I turned to Sam Kinison.
You turned to Sam Kinison.
I turned to Sam Kinison.
All right. I want to acknowledge.
First, okay. Rick. Yeah, it's a PG rated. Parental guidance suggested. Sometimes you can throw an F word out. Those PG-13 movies have F words. Have you seen Fast 5? The Rock curses once every movie. Yes, there is a Dunkin' Donuts sponsorship. It's not sponsored, but you missed. I ate a donut and looked directly into a camera. If anyone would like to watch for 2 weeks ago, the Evolved 11 show. Great show, Evolved 11 on Instagram, Eating Evolved, great company.
Yeah.
There's no reason why I'm saying that other than it's a great company. It's great. They make the best chocolate. It's delicious. It's good for you.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
It's delicious chocolate. Chocolate. It's food, not candy.
It's very good. It's very good.
It's delicious. Rick is a chocolate mogul, if you will. He's the owner and operator of Eating Evolved. And I was on the Evolved 11 show.
Right.
And I beat him in a apple cider donut competition on a string. And I was
they
like
were on
this.
the string,
And it looked
yeah.
like I hustled him, but I never did it before.
Right.
Maybe when I was 5. Who knows? I don't remember that
you
far.
You didn't do that when you were 5.
I never did it. I didn't hustle you. It's just skill. I've been training for years. I've been in the lab. Look at. You think you get this great physique?
Body
eating
by
celery?
Duncan. Body by Duncan eating celery. Anyway,
Well, they were gluten-free, Don. They were delicious.
I want to thank everybody who's watching
Yes,
right now.
thank you everyone for watching.
Joanne Persico, how you doing?
I finished this.
How you
That's
doing,
why
Joanne?
I'm so hyped up.
Bernard, you always watch Bernard. I love you. I love you. Bernard Hammer.
And
from,
we got
Anita.
Tom Tomioni, Tom Honorato.
Oh, Tom
loves
Honor-
your shirt and hat. The TKO Strong Foundation. We had our annual fall fundraiser at Plattouche Park this weekend.
Yes.
Pretty good turnout. It was very windy. It did get postponed, but it was good. I think we raised a lot of money for the
I hope
cause.
they did.
Mostly Tom. I really didn't do anything other than show up. I didn't really do much.
But Tom, Melissa, and everybody, Mark, Honorato, everyone involved,
They do a great job.
do a great job every year at Plattouche.
Little baby Thomas was dressed in his Halloween costume, which was John Candy from The Great Outdoors, because he's 5 years old, and he loves John Candy, and I love it, and I'm getting him Spaceballs for Christmas, so nobody else can get it. And if he's watching right now, don't tell him.
I hope you're all watching. And Anita Bloomfield. Anita Starlight. Anita.
I love Anita.
Yes.
I don't know Anita, but I already love you.
Great singer.
You're
too.
the best
You
singer.
Don't miss her.
You're a wonderful person.
All right.
And Rick
Now-
and Christine. If Christine's watching, she might not be watching. It might just be Rick. But they might both be watching. I don't know. Thank you very much for watching. They've been watching for the past couple of weeks, and I really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Me too. Thank you for watching.
Benny TV. That's the name of the show.
Benny TV.
It's called Benny TV.
It'll
That's
be
what
Ryan TV someday.
Well, you know, if the low dosage poison I've been putting into your drinks pays off.
One day all this will be yours.
Oh, thank you, Marlon Brando.
That was
Thank you.
bad Marlon Brando.
That was a terrible Marlon Brando.
I could do Bob Dylan.
Oh, Christine said, "Hi, Christine." They say hi to me when I watch the show, so I gotta say hi to them. Hi, guys. You see, you did a wave. You know how to wave.
What?
You
I
told
don't
me you
even
didn't
know how to wave.
I said you know how to wave. I complimented your
I
wave.
thought you were.
See, what I won't compliment is your hearing, because you need a hearing aid. 'Cause I'm sitting right here, and you can't hear a thing
That's
I'm
what
saying.
I want for Christmas. All right.
They ain't cheap. What do you? You don't even want to get me a Nintendo Switch. Mom's gonna give Michael a Roomba. My cousin Mike's gonna give him a Roomba, but she won't get me a Nintendo Switch. Roomba's more money.
All right.
Roomba's more. Better be getting a Nintendo Switch. I'm buying Smash Brothers, and then you guys got to get me the Switch.
Yeah, I'll give you the. You know, in the old days, they used to call a switch was a stick that they.
I know.
They
Adrian
beat you.
Peterson was suspended for an entire NFL season 4 years ago because he hit his kid with a
He
switch.
gave his kid the switch, and the
He
kid
hit the kid
probably
with the switch, and now he
deserved
plays for the Redskins.
it. Who, the kid?
No, Adrian Peterson.
All right.
Let's look at that full circle.
Redskins are doing pretty good, though.
They are a good team this year.
They're
Alex
doing
Smith.
very good.
Don't sleep on Alex Smith. So
My friend Charles Jackson, who's a friend of mine on Facebook, loves the Redskins. Whenever they win, I know I don't even have to watch a game. He's like, wait,
I don't need to watch the game. I know they won.
I know Charles Jackson. Charles,
That's how I
give
know
me a
the
shout
Jets
out.
suck, is just by looking at Facebook.
And there's someone else, a friend of mine. I believe he's from Tennessee, and James Perkins Jr. James Perkins. He watches from Tennessee. Him and his friends in Tennessee watch the show. He told me that yesterday. So all I want to say is Tennessee. There ain't no place I'd rather be. That's from a Grateful Dead song. So, Tennessee Jed. So, okay.
Do you want to show a video?
You want to show a video?
I know you
Okay.
like to show. You like videos.
I like
big
videos.
video guy.
I love videos.
I always say we could just throw photos up. He's like, no, we got to go to a video. I'm a big video guy.
Okay,
Ryan,
so
you don't understand my emphasis on video with this show.
to break us in to remakes, we're going to show a video of a parody.
Of something that's not a remake.
It's a parody of something that's been remade
57,000 times.
57,000 times.
All right, so here's the trailer for Sherlock Holmes' Smarter Younger Brother. Right?
Yes.
That's the title.
Here occurred the frightening and shocking history of Prince Dracula and the woman he loved.
I have crossed oceans of time to find you.
Ja, Dracul.
There's a sinister, darker side to him I find irresistible. I have never met any man with such a passion for life. He is unlike any man. What are you?
Vampires do exist. This one we fight, this one we face, can take on many forms. He is both young and old. He can appear as mist, as vapor, as the fog. And he can vanish at will.
My love.
The power of his evil desire has no end.
You've got to go to him, and you've got to love him.
She is a willing recruit and devoted disciple. She is the devil's concubine.
Join me in eternal life.
Your salvation is his destruction.
I want to be what you are. I want to see what you see. I want to love what you love. Take me away from all this death.
Make no mistake, he must be stopped.
So that wasn't Sherlock Holmes' smarter brother. 'Cause
No,
you told me
it
to put
wasn't.
Dracula first.
Yeah, I
And
forgot.
we forgot, and you queued up Sherlock Holmes' smarter brother.
Okay.
But that was Dracula, which we reviewed on the show 2 weeks ago,
Yes, we did.
which was a great movie.
And a remake.
Well, it was a good movie.
It's a great
think it's
movie.
great.
I think it's
I
great.
liked it, but I had issues with it. But overall, I enjoyed it.
I think it's the best version of Dracula.
You're probably not wrong.
No, and it's the closest to the book.
What are you doing here?
What are you
Keep
doing?
Talking.
What are you-
You keep talking.
You shaving me here? So anyway, I think
Yeah,
it's
I'm shaving.
I think it's the closest to the book. I love the movie. I think it's a little bit of everything. It's creepy. It's a little gross. It's a little gory, and the acting. What I love about it is Gary Oldman and with Anthony Hopkins ham it up. They ham it up to the point that any actor that's near them can. Even Winona Ryder tries to ham it up in a couple of scenes to keep up with Gary Oldman.
Yes, I
But,
agree.
I think it's and as we had mentioned last time, my favorite character though is Tom Waits in that small role.
Yes, you love Tom Waits.
Tom Waits' Renfield is great, and he's eating bugs, and they said we might give you a cat, and he's like, oh, I'd love a cat, and he salivates.
And that is a remake, so that does fit in with the discussion
with
a
the-
lot more than Sherlock Holmes' smarter brother.
Sherlock Holmes' Smarter Brother is a parody of many movies that have been remade of Sherlock Holmes, to the point where it became like James
But it's
Bond,
not
like
a remake.
franchise.
And we discussed that we were going to talk about remakes today.
Yes, and we will, right now.
So that's what we're going to
So
talk
Dracula
remakes.
was a remake.
Dracula is a remake.
The original Dracula with Bela Lugosi is entertaining. It's corny in some ways. This Dracula is not corny. If you were to say to me, let's watch a Dracula movie, this is
Put
the
on
one
Dracula Untold with Luke Evans.
No. Those
terrible.
other
It's
ones are
terrible
not that
movie.
good. And then, like there are parodies. There was a parody, Young Frankenstein. Then they made a movie called Black Dracula, right? Which I didn't get to see. I still would like to see it. Blackula. It was called Blackula, and I'd like to see it.
We're going
because-
into a little bit of a racist.
No, it's not
territory
racist. It was an African American production,
now. Oh,
so it's not
it was
racist.
The Vampire in Brooklyn with Eddie Murphy.
Right. That's racist, and that's
What are you
terrible.
talking about? It's talking about Wes Craven. You got Angela Bassett.
Right. But Blackula was during the time when they were coming out with movies like
You know what's another good remake is The Mummy with Brendan Fraser. That's a great remake. That's a lot of fun. It feels like the Indiana Jones films from the 90s, well, from the 80s.
And it's a good remake.
And it's a great remake. We know it's a bad remake. Tom Cruise is The Mummy.
Tom
That's
Cruise
a pile
is
of
the
donkey
movie. I
doodle.
can't watch that movie. I cannot watch that movie.
I've seen it 3 times, but it's unwatchable.
I know you put it. You call it unwatchable, yet you
Because I put it on just to make sure it's still dog shit. I test.
It is. I can't
do
watch
tests.
it. I can't watch it. It's terrible.
I put it on and I do tests to see how bad it is. And then I'm like, yep, still sucks. Because I love the Brendan Fraser Mummy, the first one and the second one. Third one I can do without.
Right. I
The
agree
first
with you.
two are great.
The first one is really good, and what's good is Boris Karloff Mummy. I think is boring. I find that quite boring.
Yeah, it's not really. It's
yeah.
fine. But some of those films are very dated.
Yeah,
That's why we have remakes. That's the point of a remake is to update something for a new audience. Like a great example of that is King Kong. King Kong's been remade
Yes.
3 times.
right.
There's additional remakes, but the main remakes
The
is
main
the
King Kong itself.
1977, 76?
So
King
yeah,
Kong
around that,
with
right?
Jeff Bridges, which
Yes.
I've only seen parts of.
Jeff Bridges and Jessica Lange.
And Jessica Lange. Then
Yeah.
there is the 2005 one,
Right.
with which is directed by Peter Jackson, which is my personal favorite King Kong film.
I like
with
it. It's a
Naomi
little
Watts.
too long.
A little too. That's the biggest complaint with that film is it takes like well over an hour to get to the island.
Yes.
And then after they leave the island, there's another hour, and it's like
Right.
3 hours long. So it's 1 hour on the island, 1 hour off the island, another hour off the island, or to the island.
It's a little too long, but
It's a little too long.
It's an
in the
excellent
tooth.
movie.
Great movie. I love King Kong. I love that King Kong. Then we have Kong Skull Island,
Right.
which came out last year, which I really like. But it's a very different King Kong movie, but I like the fact that it was different. I like the fact that it wasn't. Those two are just straight up remakes, just reestablishing the first movie. He goes to the Empire State Building, beats his chest, and he dies.
Right.
It was Beauty Killed the Beast.
In the
Jack Black does a great job.
in the Peter Jackson
Jack Black,
one.
Adrian Brody.
Right. In the Jeff Bridges, he didn't do the Empire State
the
Building.
World Trade Center.
And a lot of people had protested that. They weren't happy with it. They were like, he has to be on the Empire State Building. That's King Kong. But Dino De Laurentiis wanted to do something different, and it wasn't that great of a movie.
No. But I do, although it is too long, I love the Peter Jackson King Kong. I love that movie.
All right, I enjoyed the first. I think that Peter Jackson, he did a great job. He covered a lot more that the original did hint at, like the insects and then the dinosaurs.
Oh, I love that, and the dinosaurs
Right.
and everything.
So Peter Jackson did an excellent job of updating it. It was a remake that was an update. I still enjoy the original because you had Fay Wray, you had Jack Armstrong playing the main guy,
Yes.
and I know the King Kong is goofy looking now with his eyes.
Oh,
like,
yeah. But
it's funny.
it's still a
But
fun movie.
back in the 70s, they restored the original print because
Yes.
when it had come out, there was a print where he's in the city and he's picking up people and chewing
on them, yeah.
Yeah, and he was looking
was
for
hungry.
Fay Wray. He takes a woman and throws her. He just before that, you used to see this woman see him and then scream and close the window. And when they restored it, he grabbed that woman, looked at her, and then just
And
tossed her.
tossed it.
You know, so they restored that, and I enjoy the original, I do, but I think that that's a remake it was well worth doing the remake.
Yes.
But Now, I had mentioned Harlan Ellison before, the late Harlan Ellison. He was approached to remake a movie called Forbidden Planet, which was a Hollywood science fiction film where they go to another planet. And he was asked, and he didn't want to do it because that was an excellent movie, Forbidden Planet. And he said, his quote was, "Why remake a movie if they did it right the first time?" And I feel that did hold true back when he said it, but now the medium has changed. Back then, you were lucky if the movie was shown on TV. You didn't have a lot of channels.
Yeah.
The movie, you didn't have any recording devices, so there were revivals. They would bring those old movies back to the regular theater,
Yes.
and people would go see the Ten Commandments. Gone with the Wind didn't make it to TV until sometime in the 70s. So every time Gone with the Wind came to a theater, if you wanted to see Gone with the Wind, you had to go. So at that time, that held true. Now, with all the ways that you can watch these movies, you can own them and everything, people are not going to run out to the theater to see King Kong or see, you know. So you have to bring them out by remaking the movie and sometimes disguising the remake.
Well, yes and
There
yes
are some
and no.
movies that disguise the remake.
Well,
where-
I wouldn't say disguise the remake because there are some films that are not remaking, but they're ripping off something.
Okay,
That's not
all right.
disguising a remake. That's ripping something off.
All
and
right,
making
that's all right.
Your
No,
own
I'm glad
version.
I'm glad you cleared that
Because
up for me.
you know, Skyscraper isn't a remake
Yeah.
of the Towering Inferno, but it's very similar.
yes.
You could consider it a remake of the Towering Inferno, but it's not a disguised remake.
All right, but
You could say it's a mix between Towering Inferno and Die Hard.
And Die
Which
Hard.
is what Skyscraper is.
Yeah.
Which is a film starring The Rock, which just came out, if you're not familiar.
And-
But that's a film, some people say it's not a remake. That's not
and he did an earthquake movie.
San
which-
Andreas.
San Andreas, which is not a remake of
Earthquake. And it's
but-
very different. It's very different than that movie, I would say.
Okay.
But I wasn't done talking about King Kong.
all right, I'm
We go
sorry.
to King Kong because I only got to say one sentence about the new one.
All right.
Kong Skull Island, which came out last year. That is a film that I really like. It's not on the same level of any of the other. It's better than the 70s one. But it's not on the level of the first two, but it's a different kind of movie because they get to go, instead it's Vietnam War. And you get that epic scene of the helicopters coming in the sunset with Kong there, and he's taking out the helicopters. I can watch that scene on a loop for like 3 hours. John C. Reilly is great. Some of the characters are very one-note in that movie and very flat. There's really no character development at all except for John C. Reilly's character and a little bit with Samuel L. Jackson, who I think is great in that movie. I find that movie fun.
That's what it was made to be fun.
Yeah.
And I agree with. I like that movie too. It's a different version of King Kong.
Yes.
It's
And it goes into the MonsterVerse they're making with the Godzilla film, which came out in 2014, which is the second American remake of Godzilla. Because they did the Roland Emmerich one in 1998-99
right.
with Matthew Broderick and Hank Azaria, which is... I have friends that defend it. I think it's a really bad movie that's just fun to watch and make fun of.
Yeah.
I
It
liked
turns
it as a
into
little
Jurassic
kid when I was like
Park,
5 years old.
Right. Yeah.
I was a big fan of it, but it becomes Jurassic Park at the end. Mom said, "What about Mighty Joe Young?" Nobody cares about Mighty Joe Young.
No.
That's it. No. Nobody cares. Nobody remembers Mighty Joe Young, and nobody remembers the Bill Paxton, Charlize Theron Mighty Joe Young. Nobody cares about Mighty Joe Young. We're talking about
Mighty
Godzilla. So Godzilla in 2014, it had Bryan Cranston, and spoiler, they kill Bryan Cranston in the first 20 minutes, it ruins the whole movie.
All right.
And Bryan Cranston and Godzilla have the same amount of screen time, and that's why I'm excited for Godzilla 2, which
Good.
comes out this year, which is going to have King Ghidorah, or Ghidorah, however you like to say it, Mothra, Rodan, and it's going to set up
And
for...
Gamera.
That's completely different.
No, Gamera is one of the.
No, Gamera got his own film series. What are you
Oh,
doing?
all
Kyle's
right.
here. He'd slap the poop out of you.
Yeah, that's right.
Kyle would just start slapping you. That's a
Okay.
different. Gamera is different. What are you doing?
All right.
Stay out. Donnie, you're out of your element.
Come on, give me some more here because I got to say something.
All right, fine. Talk about Mighty Joe.
Mighty Joe Young is a great movie, and the original Mighty Joe Young what is cool about that is that he's a friendly ape. He's a big giant ape that just happens to be big. They never explain why, but he was raised by this young girl, and he's her pet. And the first one is really cool. She sings to him, and it's the same thing. Jack Armstrong again is in that movie, Mighty Joe Young, but it's a very entertaining. I'm sorry if I'm putting you to sleep. It's a very entertaining movie. I enjoy it.
Oh, I'm sorry. What? Nobody cares about Mighty Joe Young. Look at all the time we wasted.
2 minutes.
We only got 10 minutes left because you were talking about Mighty Joe Young for 45 minutes.
No, I didn't.
So we have some photos that
All right.
disappeared, and they can reappear and appear on the screen of some. This is the original.
Yes.
We have Planet of the Apes.
Right.
I don't really know why you wanted to put this photo in, but
It's a poster.
I told you remakes, and you just started throwing everything in.
Okay.
So this is the Charlton Heston Planet of the Apes, great
Right.
film
Yes.
from 1960.
Yeah, somewhere around there, 69 maybe. 60.
You were alive. You're supposed to know these things.
It's not 1960.
I don't know.
Maybe 66. Let's say 66.
Okay, it came out in a year. Then we have Rise of the Planet of the Apes, which
Yes.
was the second remake of Planet of the Apes. This is actually a remake of Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. It's not a remake of the Charlton Heston one.
Right.
And John Santo is throwing some gang signs up at us. 68. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, John Santo.
John Santo.
John Santo,
60.
friend of the show. 1968 is when Planet of the Apes was released. And in 2011, we had Rise of the Planet of the Apes with James Franco, David Oyelowo, and it's a great film. To me, it's one of the best remakes of all time.
All right.
I'll
give
stand
you that.
the test of time. It is a film where, like the Harlan Ellison thing, why remake a good movie if it was great the first time? The fourth Planet of the Apes, Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, is not a good movie.
No, it is not.
It is not a good movie. It has elements, it has a good idea, but it's not a good movie. Rise of the Planet of the Apes takes that idea and enhances upon it a huge amount.
They do. And it was amazing. And again, this is another movie where ignore the critics, because the critics panned it.
Yes.
Especially Newsday panned it. And we went to see it with Mom. And
people didn't really pan that movie. That was a very
But
well.
the critic, Newsday.
You and the Newsday. I've been saying this since 2006. I got another remake. So throw up The Departed. We're cutting through all the tape. Throw up throw it up. In 2006, Newsday gave The Departed a 2-star review and said Jack Nicholson hammed in his performance. That film won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Screenplay, Best Editing.
yes. And
That is the best film ever made. That is my favorite movie of all time, and it is a remake.
It is a remake.
It is a remake, which is why I have it.
Okay, and it's
And Newsday, nobody cares about Newsday, except for, there's some good elements in Newsday. I love the Three Identical Strangers documentary, and Newsday was a big part of that in real life that unveiled the triplets. So Newsday has some great things. One of their great things is not their movie reviews.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm not going to say his name, but I am not a fan of Newsday movie reviews. If you would like to come on the show, I invite you to come onto the show and we can discuss why you guys give bad reviews to movies.
All right. The Departed was a remake.
The Departed is a remake of a film called Infernal Affairs, which came out in the early 2000s, which is actually the first of 3 films. There's 3 Infernal Affairs films and 1 Departed.
And they're Japanese, right?
Chinese.
Chinese.
They're Chinese films.
Okay.
They're very well regarded movies. They're very well loved. People love the Infernal Affairs films in China, I think. I don't know. I'm mostly guessing. I've seen it. I've seen the film
And what
because
did
I
you
love
think
The
of it?
Departed. It's a very good movie. It's very different. There's videos you can find online of side-by-side comparisons of certain scenes.
Right.
The scene that is spoilers for The Departed, that is the death of Queenan. That happens in both versions.
Oh, okay.
And you can watch a side-by-side comparison and see how different the way The Departed is Americanized, but it's more than that. You have Martin Scorsese and you have the script of William Monahan and just the way it's all brought together, and the editing is is different. And Martin Scorsese, he's such an amazing filmmaker. The way he's able to edit with this frenetic pace. And the pacing and the intensity and the way that you feel in that scene, you don't have at all in the other one. When that happens, it's not really the main focus. And there's music, and they show flashbacks of them together, and it's very melodramatic.
Okay.
Very melodramatic cinema. Where in that scene in The Departed, it's naturalistic, it's minimalist sound, and it's the shock, and you feel the shock that DiCaprio's character feels.
I watched it the other night.
Yes, you did. In
I watched
preparation
it
for this.
I wanted to see it because we've been talking about it.
In preparation.
In preparation. What, you want to put your hand up my back like I'm a friggin' dummy?
That's very inappropriate.
I didn't mean it that way.
This is PG, sir. Parental guidance.
Good day, sir. So anyway, I watched it, and it's very compelling. It stirs up all your emotions. The dialogue is crisp and excellent. I could watch it again. And the acting, Jack, you just overlook how great the acting is. Okay, is there another remake you'd like to speak about?
Yeah, we have, let's throw up the poster. Let's throw this up. Let's throw up Ray Bradbury's The Illustrated Man, which is a book that you love.
That I love. I think
this is a film that we were talking about deserves a remake.
Yes.
Because the original, which you were watching yesterday and I watched clips of, is terrible.
I couldn't get through it.
It's a terrible movie.
I couldn't get through it. It's terrible.
It's terrible. And this is a great book. This is a great science fiction. It's a collection of short stories with a kind of with a big story overlapped. It's layered.
Yeah, it's ingeniously connected. The short stories are ingeniously connected to a man who has tattoos, who is they're illustrations.
Yes.
And each illustration tells a story at night while he's sleeping. And they did not get that across in the movie at all. So I recommend, if you want to get somebody a great Christmas gift, The Illustrated Man.
And one thing I think for The Illustrated Man is that I think in this day and age with Netflix and everything, this would be a perfect Netflix show or Hulu, Amazon. It would be a great anthology series.
Oh, they could
encompassed by, you get a big name actor to be The Illustrated Man, and he only shows up a little bit in each episode. And you have these different anthology, like a Black Mirror type show, and that would work. That would work like gangbusters. In this environment where anthology shows are becoming bigger and bigger, whether it be anthology seasons or anthology episodes, they've gotten bigger and bigger. Another remake I want to talk about is David Cronenberg's The Fly, which I actually watched last night. I've seen before, but I hadn't seen it in a very long time. Starring Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis. And this is another one of the best remakes. It did a great job remaking The Fly, which with Vincent Price, which it has its good moments, but overall it's not that great of a movie, to me at least. I know you are a big fan of it.
It has a different shock value. It was a 50s horror film, the other one. So it's a guy half human and with a fly's head.
Yes.
So, and then there's a fly going around with the human head.
Yeah.
So that's very good. But this Fly, they took the actual scientific, what would happen if somebody created a transporter.
And a fly got in.
And a fly got in the transporter, and he got into the human's DNA, which is brilliant. It's both films stand alone.
And it's still, to this day, it's still jarring. It still messes with you. It has really good effects.
Right.
The acting is brilliant. I love a lot of the movie. There's parts where it's not, it kind of goes a little too long with the scenes between Gina Davis and the ex-boyfriend character.
Yeah.
But that's typical, especially of movies back then, but that's very, of movies in the 80s.
Well, the only main characters are three people.
There's only three people in the movie.
There's three people in the whole movie.
But it's great, and Jeff Goldblum, it's his best film where he's the lead.
Yes.
Where he is the lead. That's his best film. Best performance.
They won for best makeup. And when they won
very
for
the makeup's still great to this day.
When they won for the makeup, they thanked Jeff Goldblum a million times.
Because without him, the makeup wouldn't have had the same effect, because his acting is so good as the Brundlefly.
Right. He's so good, and as I said, both movies are very entertaining. They stand alone, but the Fly remake is the most superior.
Yes.
So, okay.
We're out of time because you spent like 45 minutes talking about Mighty
Talking
Joe
about
Young.
Mighty Joe Young. Had a great time. Next week, we're going to talk about holiday movies. And
We're going to talk
maybe
about
we'll-
movies that you watch on Thanksgiving.
On Thanksgiving. Movies
We're
you
not
watch
gonna
on
talk- holiday
Thanksgiving.
movies is
You're
for
right.
holidays.
Movies you
The
watch,
movies
on,
you watch on
Thanksgiving,
Thanksgiving.
and maybe we'll open the phone lines, maybe, if you let.
Probably not. Have a great night. We'll see you next week.
See you next week, everybody. Thanks for watching Benny TV on Strong Island Radio and Television. Woo-hoo.